Hey YouTube, working on my bus conversion today. I got my buddy Mike over here, and we are working on installing.
Do you know what that is?
This is a combination heater, hot water heater, diesel fired, 110 volt as well. It is like a diesel heater and a diesel hot water heater in the same box. Just to be clear, it is not a hydronic system. It is not designed to hook into your coolant lines or anything like that. It just
hot
heats
water.
hair and hot water for your sink and shower and whatnot. So this is a totally different animal. These are really common in Europe. There's a company called Truma that makes something called a Truma Combi D6E, I think is what it's called. The problem with the US market is that they're not available for the US market because the Truma units are 230 volt and they don't offer a 110 volt version of it, to my knowledge. So yeah, this is all in liters, so it has a 10 liter storage capacity for the water.
It's 2.5 gallons.
That's it, 2.5 gallons?
Yes.
Are
you sure it's 10 liters?
That's what it says. It's 10 liters. In the space that used to occupy our hot water heater, we can put this. Now, it has a control panel as well, but we're trying to figure out how exactly we're going to go about installing this. Lots of issues to consider around that. So here's the typical accessories it came with. If any of you ever installed a diesel heater, you'll recognize some of this tubing and the little pump. Very similar. Came with line, exhaust hose, and so on. The exhaust is a little different on these things. So this is different. This is the piece that goes on the outside of the bus, and it's a double pipe thing. The exhaust goes through the middle and the intake goes through the outside.
Oh.
So that's clever because when it's operating and the exhaust is hot, it will have cool air flowing over the outside.
That preheats the cool air coming in and cools off the pipe going
right?
out.
But then this is different, right? So yeah, that is a consideration. All right, so we just made a run to Home Depot to grab some things that we needed to hook this up to be able to test it on the bench. We've got, we put a plug, 110 plug on that end of the cord. The power, or the water hooks up with compression fittings. And I was a little concerned that it might have like some metric pipe standard or not, but it doesn't. This is regular US, so it is that SAE fittings. So we're adapting this to hose fittings so that we can hook up the hose from the bus to give it some water. So we got some adapters to be able to do that. It's a half inch male, correct?
Yeah.
On the
Right here.
Yeah, that's half inch. So, all right, we got the hose hooked up to the input from the bus. The water coming in. We got water going out the shop door over there. We're filling the tank and rinsing the tank right now. So we'll see what's happening here. So yeah, we got it all hooked up. Got the control panel hooked up and everything. It's got this kind of fancy temperature control stuff you can do here. I turned on the vent, just on fan, and this thing made a horrible noise because it's making contact with the body in here. So that's pretty poor quality control. Also, I've tightened the crap out of this fitting and it's leaking. So I'm draining the tank right now. I'm going to send an email to the manufacturer, which is Belief, and see what they want to do. I don't know, maybe this possible this was not a manufacturing defect. It's possible it's shipping damage because the unit did arrive dented on top. I don't know how that would be over here causing a problem, but maybe this thing got thrashed on the way here. It was pretty well packed, but yeah, I got the jerry can hooked up. I got 12 volts hooked up. It was ready to hook up 110. We hooked up we hooked up a power plug to the end of the input here. We're gonna do that. But yeah, I'm calling it a night at this point. Pretty I don't know, 4-letter word. Right. So yeah, I'll let you know what the manufacturer says. I'm pretty sure they'll stand by it, but we'll see. All right, today is tomorrow, and I heard back from the manufacturer, and they emailed me on a weekend and had me adjust this. I was taking it in, and it really needs to come out a little bit this way, which makes sense because the blower, it's got a lip on it. So I'm running this at its highest speed, and that seems to be functioning okay. It is a variable speed thing too, so on the controller you can set the speed you want, like digitally here. So I'll go down to like 5, and then it'll like ramp. And there's certain speeds that it makes a kind of an annoying sound on. So that's 5. This is the clock. I'll go ahead and just set it down to off. Okay, that didn't ramp down, but yeah. So that's passing the test now, I guess. It's time to go ahead and do something else here. Before I have this thing making heat, I need to do something about this, because that's going to get hot. I'm in my shop, and I've got the doors open and stuff here, so that's the ducks. We got ducks. Okay, I just told it to heat. This will be the first firing. It's got to heat up the glow plug, obviously. I'm expecting smoke. I do smell some diesel right now. I gotta monitor the voltage on this battery. Okay, it's firing up. It's lighting. Pump is clicking. That's very loud. Any of you that have done a Chinese diesel heater knows that this is fairly normal for the lighting phase, especially with no muffler on it. The glow plug is on, and it's hammering the voltage on the battery pretty good there. I got it hooked up to a charger, which says it's fully charged, so I'm hoping that kicks in. I do have a carbon monoxide detector I'm going to go ahead and grab here. Still warming. Now the voltage has come up. I can smell it. Display says it's operating on fuel. I may need to engage my fan here. Alright, so the carbon monoxide detector says 0, which is good. This is, the exhaust is not very warm. 80. 9700. It's a very gentle heat. That is working. So, I guess at this point it's time to maybe go ahead and see about hot water. Okay, turn the heater off and it's going through its cool down cycle. There's a teeny bit of condensation I'm observing there. Oh, and now we're getting some smoke. A little bit, or maybe it's condensate. Yeah, I think that's more steam than anything. Because I guess I do smell a little bit of diesel in it. Let's see what happens when we stick this CO over here. I guess you know, it's got modes for the fuel modes here. So it has propane or diesel, as they offer both. 900 watts plus fuel, 1800 watts electrical plus fuel, or just electric. So just, you know, just fuel, a mix of fuel and electricity, or just electricity, and you can control the watts. So yeah, 1800 is quite a bit. Haven't tried that yet. Let's see what happens. All right, so just for giggles, I wanted to see if it would heat using electricity only. And we're about to find out here. Evidently this functions as an electric heater as well. There is hot air coming out of the exhaust. The fan is on. And we're getting heat. I'll be damned. So let me check that out, see what temperature we're getting. So it's putting out 100-degree heat on the 900 watt electric mode. And interestingly, there appears to be some waste heat coming out of this, where the fuel would normally be coming out. So that is a little interesting. That seems to be wasteful. Maybe a function of how it works inside. It's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of flow, but it is putting out heat out of that. But yes, there's a nice, and it's on low, right? So it's not doing a lot as far as the fan speed. You can control that as well. Let me go ahead and crank up that fan. All right, I went ahead and I told it to put the fan on high. It has low, high, and boost. So let's see what that does. It's ramping up now. Of course, we're getting less heat out of it now, because we've only told it to use 1800 watts. It is working. It's working pretty good. It also apparently has a boost mode on that, which probably means it runs the fan at the absolute highest setting. Sticking the exhaust hose on it does make the resonant noise quite a bit quieter. So now it's doing both heating hot water, and it's using 1800 watts of electricity and diesel together to do that. Be interesting to see what it does when it believes that it's reached temperature for the air. Okay, once it's satisfied the temperature setting I had it set to, it went ahead and it shut off the blower, but it's continuing to run the pump and use the diesel and the electric to heat the water. But it doesn't really seem to do that on its own without, just the water heating mode. I haven't been able to use both fuels simultaneously. Okay, it's reached temperature, and 10 liters is approximately equal to 2.5 gallons. So what I want to do, this is hot, very hot. 140 degrees is what it's set to. 140, it says 136. But what I want to know is how quickly this recovers. So if I empty all of that hot water down to you know, 2.5 gallons, which we're kind of at now, and it's still fairly warm. Okay, now the unit is kicking on over there. This is still warm enough for a shower here. And it's not 140, but now you would have been constantly adjusting your shower from the 140 as it cooled down. Now it's getting to the point where it's lukewarm, but I wouldn't want my body under it. Now it's getting cold. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off. So we got not quite 5 gallons of hot water out of that. Now, how long does it take to recover? Okay, I'm gonna say that took about 25 minutes for it to heat up the water again using diesel. It's gone into shut off mode on the heating. I ran the stopwatch for a while, so now we'll see what happens here. I'm gonna go ahead and run the water. These fittings are a real bear to get tightened up. I have fought this. Yeah, that's gonna be an issue there. You can see it dripping. I'm trying to keep it off the fuel pump here. Anyways, yeah, I gotta drain the water out of this thing, but I want to see how much I get out of it hot. Should be another 5 gallons, I think. 2.5 hot anyways. All right, we're gonna measure the temperature and the capacity of this, because this could be a real concern. Ooh. Hot, hot, hot. That's saying 190, 189. Wow, that's way too hot. Now it's kicking on the burner. I'm gonna have to shut this off. Got down to about 100. Yeah, was that truly 190 on the first spurt? That's crazy. All right, I'm draining all the water out of this thing because I can't deal with the fittings leaking anymore. I gotta try and get them tightened up. So these stainless fittings are not something you're gonna find at your local hardware store. This is a 10 millimeter compression to 1/2 inch pipe fitting. And this is the one that goes down here on the bottom. I ended up having to take it off, which is not advisable, but I took it over and stuck it in the vise. I put far more reps of Teflon on here than I normally would. And it's stainless to brass. It's just not sealing up good. It's leaking from this thread interface. So I'm trying again. This will be the, well, I don't know, probably third time trying to get it right. So yeah, I have serious doubts about that 190-degree thing that happened. That's not good. I am going to definitely be emailing the manufacturer about that. That's nearly boiling hot, way too hot for safety reasons. Granted, that was right out of the top of, the tank, so it would have been the hottest part, but yeah, that's unacceptable. I'm doing another test now at the lower setting. Waiting for that to heat up, and I've attached my shower head to it from the bus. It's a low flow shower head, and I want to just see. I won't be able to mix cold water with it because I'm not getting that elaborate with the setup, but I just want to see how long of a shower you can get with this thing, right? I mean, that's ultimately going to be the answer, whether this is going to work for me and probably whether it's going to work for you. So we'll see here. Okay, in the electric 1800 watt setting, it took between 33 and 34 minutes for it to reach 40 degrees Celsius on the hot water heater, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna go ahead and see now what that's like for a shower. I did go ahead and hook up a shower head here instead of the garden hose. I've got my favorite RV shower head thing that we bought in Quartzsite a couple years ago. This thing is awesome. Gives you a nice full shower, even with just low water pressure. Okay, it's off at the moment here. We're just going to see what this measures. 108, 109, 115, 120, 21. Yeah, that needs to get mixed with cold. All right, here we go. Now we'll have to look at the replay, the video replay, right, to see how long this goes. Now it's getting down. There's 98.7. Now we're getting down to where we're going to be cold. Below that. Now that time, that 33, 34 minutes it took to heat up, that was from full cold, not, not 100 degrees. That was a full cold from the garden hose filling up the water heater. Now that still feels warm to me, but it reads 95. And the bucket's almost full, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this test. Now, interestingly, it just kicked on now. Now, I would have thought it would have kicked on earlier, but it kicked on now. I think I'm going to go ahead and tell it to reheat with diesel, and we'll see how long that takes. All right, it's still running. It's been about 15, 16 minutes, but it's gone into kind of a lower mode. So I think it might be up to temp, and I want to go ahead and see what this is like after 15 minutes of heating. Can we get a good shower out of it? What temperature is it? You really only had to raise the water temperature about 30 degrees, right? Because it was right about 100. 99, 98.7, right? When we stopped the last test. So let's see what we got here. There is a thing about these diesel heaters that it takes a lot of energy for them to turn on and off, because when it turns on it has to heat the glow plug, and so there's kind of a strategy to just maintain, perhaps. Maybe that's what it's trying to do. Instead of not shutting off unless it absolutely has to. Because it takes hardly anything for it to just run the pump and the fan. It takes a lot less than the glow plug. 130 something degrees here. So this looks pretty similar to last time, right? After 15 minutes of heating, we're good to go here, because the temperature change was only 30 degrees, right? I mean, I probably could have started this test sooner. I think at this point you're jumping out of the shower. All right, so I'm running a test now to see. We're doing both fuel and 1800 watts of electric, and we're heating the air and the hot water at the same time. And I just want to see what the tank recovery time is on this. Alright, I forgot to set my stopwatch, but it's still still heating, but it's kind of gone into this mode where it's just barely clicking. I have a feeling it thinks it's reached temperature. I'm going to go ahead and trigger the climate to be done. I'm going to put the room temperature sensor in front of the exhaust here. Okay, yeah, see, it just clicked off. As it says, the room's warm enough. Okay, and so now the burner is kicking off. Okay, so the mode indicates that nothing's happening. So I think that means it's satisfied. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the temperature down to off. And nothing's blinking over here. Usually this would be blinking if it was doing something. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the shower. Ooh, that's plenty hot coming out of there. Real hot. Hotter than after eating. Maybe 20. So yeah, in that mode, where we were heating the room and the hot water, it did not do as good of a job as heating this, even though it was kind of indicating that it was done. 99, 98. Yeah, that's not great. We got a couple gallons out of it. Okay, so I told it to run in the hottest mode here again. Let's see what happens if we get a repeat of that 190 degree water. That's steaming hot, real hot coming out of there. 152, 155, 160. 169, 170. It's too hot. That's dangerous hot. Steaming up the thing. Yeah, that steam coming off there is burn you hot.
Well, if it's steaming in 74 degree weather, that's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because our ambient temp right now is 74.
157. Yeah, so the hot mode on here is too hot. And it's hotter than the documentation
doing a
says.
sprinkler test. If you were to put that in where you could test solid water, it'd probably be hotter than that.
Well, when I ran it out of the faucet full garden hose, that first squirt that came out was 190.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you what's that doing?
174, 175, 176.
You see, that's still chilling with the air explosion.
It's still too damn hot.
Way, way hot.
That's unsafe hot.
Yeah, 174 degrees. Holy crap, that'll blister you.
So I'm going to go ahead and set this back to low because that's too hot. That's kicking on. But I'm going to adjust the temperature down to eco. And then I'm going to tell it Now it's going to do electric mode right now. So yeah, I think I'm satisfied with this thing. I think it's going to work just fine for us. The hot mode, that's a no-go. I think the regular mode is just fine. I am going to contact the manufacturer about that, see if that's really supposed to be that hot or not. I mean, you'd think maybe if you were, you know, cooking or something, maybe you might want to have it that hot, but certainly not for bathing purposes. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm going ahead, I'm draining it, and I'm gonna make plans to install it in my bus. So yeah, stay tuned to see how it goes. I hope you found this information interesting or useful. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you soon.